Typically, hunters use trail cameras to click pictures and videos of wild animals, mainly deer and bunnies, and monitor their activity for hunting. These cameras click a snap or record a video whenever they detect any movement in their range of view. Trail cams can be left out in the open and mounted to a steady spot, since they do not need to be supervised or operated manually at all times. These surveillance cameras can serve many purposes, such as hunting, spying, and security. Sometimes these cameras manage to catch the most unexpected and out-of-the-ordinary things that leave people puzzled for days, make them question reality, or even occasionally drive them to be extra cautious for their safety and well-being. Today, we'll tell you about 15 times trail cameras captured what no one was supposed to see. Number 1. Jersey Devil. This trail cam footage shows a flying, winged creature that looks devilish. This sighting is linked with the famous legend of the Jersey Devil. In 1735, Jane Leeds found out she was pregnant for the 13th time. She threw tantrums and was so deeply traumatized that she gave a prophecy that the child would be Satan himself. It is narrated that child looked normal when he was first born. However, the infant abruptly turned into a creature with a goat's head, bat wings, a forked tail, clawed hands, and hooves. He reportedly killed the midwife and flew out of the chimney to go live in the Pine Barrens, where he killed wandering children. This folklore is very popular in Japan. It was rumored to have been once spotted by Napoleon's brother. Around 1,000 eyewitness accounts were reported in South Jersey in 1909, whereas in 1927, a cab driver spotted the creature on his car's roof. In the 1960s, a $250,000 reward was announced for catching the Jersey Devil. Even an episode of X-Files based on the Jersey Devil was filmed in the 1990s. All these events somewhat confirm the existence of the flying devil. What do you think? Number 2. Mystifying creature. This image from a trail camera is utterly unexplainable and scary. 4 teenagers in Texas ventured into some deep forest for hiking. Despite warnings from the locals not to go in there, they paid no heed and continued to trek in the forest, joking about how they might find the witch from the Blair Witch Project in the woods. Little did they know they would actually run into something so horrifying. The group had a close encounter with this out-of-the-world being. The nearest town was miles away, and the location was too remote. Nevertheless, they made it safely out of the woods but were shaken to their core. That creature was probably the reason why people avoided going in there. Number 3. Ghost Girl. In 2017, a family installed a trail camera in the middle of the woods in Cambridge, New York for hunting season. They were hoping to find some deer, birds, or foxes they could hunt down. However, they caught something they did not expect, and it was a sight straight out of a horror movie. This discovery left them perplexed and terrified to their core. The trail camera shot a grainy picture of a girl playing around in the middle of the woods. The girl appeared pale and ghostly with a demonic aura. Many stories about that particular part of the town have been rumored around. According to one famous tale, a little girl ran through the woods and was murdered while she was playing on the train tracks. Some people think the murdered girl and the ghost girl in the picture have somewhat matching personas, and that ghost might be that of the dead girl still wandering around in the woods. While many locals claim they've never encountered any such ghost in the area in their entire life, paranormal experts who visited the woods testify to having experienced a lot of paranormal activity in the area, which is absolutely spin-chilling. Number 4. Walking Scarecrow. Let's just be honest. With their menacing auras, scarecrows are truly frightening on their own. You would probably have second thoughts while crossing a farmhouse or field with a scarecrow in its center. You might even try watching it from the corner of your eye to comfort yourself and make sure it doesn't move an inch. In this video, a scarecrow detached from its fixed position or a human dressed like a scarecrow appears to be running across the field. With a hat on and rugged wraps, the figure's persona really does resemble a scarecrow. Whether it was a scarecrow or a human dressed like one, the mere thought of it is enough to give anyone nightmares. Number 5. Coyote Girl. This downright frightening footage shows a girl hanging out with a coyote in the middle of the woods, consumed with darkness. In the following shots, she appears very close to the camera. She's looking right at it as if she's staring at someone through the lens, fully aware of being videotaped. She kneels close to the coyote on all fours in a couple of other shots, and the pair stares at the camera together. Neither of them seems to be scared of the other. It is absolutely mind-boggling to think about how she got there. How come she wasn't even a bit afraid of the wild animal? The coyote caused her no harm, as if the two had a deep understanding. Was the girl really a human, or did she belong to some other, more potent world? Number 6. Eerie lights. This footage will definitely interest our alien and UFO enthusiasts. The recording goes back to 2014. A bunch of deer can be seen grazing in the middle of the woods in the darkness of the night. Although the forest is expected to be pitch black because of the nighttime, this is not the case here. The scene of the deer munching on the grass in the woods is followed by a snapshot of a pair of dim lights surfacing in the back. The lights brighten up in the next couple of clicks, and strange figures begin appearing in the night sky. The homeowners explained that the trail camera was infrared, so there was no way it emitted such robust lights on its own. The footage went viral, and everyone put their 2 cents in. It was highly speculated that the strong lights were neither any sort of anomaly nor thrown from a human source, but instead, they had something to do with aliens. Many people think that the pair of lights were shown from 2 giant orbs and that the orbs belonged to a UFO. It is widely believed that the bright lights are attributed to an alien visit, which explains the presence of strange shapes in the sky and leads us to consider that perhaps extraterrestrials and a UFO visited the area. Whatever the case, the peculiar footage was definitely baffling and petrifying. To date, this recording is an enigma that nobody can figure out. Number 7. Levitating girl. This viral video dates back to 2009, when a Russian man was out in the snow walking his dog and casually making a video. The low-resolution clip starts in the most ordinary way imaginable with his happy dog, namely Tarzan, playing around goofily. The video proceeds with the man calling to his dog, who had run off at a little distance to explore the area. Before the video ends, the camera's eye catches something of a very unconventional sight. The man spots a woman and a little girl at some distance ahead of them. The woman in an orange jacket and the girl in a pink jacket look like they could be mother and daughter. What stuns the guy is that the little girl starts floating mid-air. The woman stands and watches as her daughter levitates in the air right above her head. The way the woman doesn't react to the situation and stands unfazed indicates it wasn't happening for the first time. The out-of-the-ordinary sight leaves the man super confused. Just then, the woman spots the man and his camera. She grabs the girl frantically and drags her away from the scene. Both run off and vanish into thin air. This incident has forever remained a puzzle. Doubtlessly, it was creepy and amazing at the same time. It definitely prompts up several questions in your mind. Was the girl some kind of superhuman? Were the mother-daughter duo both mutants? Was the video staged, or do people possessing magical powers really exist hiding among us? Guess we'll never know. Number 8. Alien being. Trail cameras are notorious for capturing the oddest of sightings that cannot be explained. They have frequently photographed bizarre happenings and eccentric creatures that frighten the local residents and raise safety concerns. A significant chunk of mysterious and spooky encounters and appearances comes from none other than trail cameras lying about in remote locations or woods. Most evidence of ghosts, paranormal activity, extraterrestrials, cryptids, and other fictitious characters like the Slender Man comes from these cameras in isolated places. They are small, so they usually go unnoticed. This picture of what looks like an otherworldly being was accidentally caught on a trail camera. Many similar photos and videos have been found on these cams. I guess it is safe to say that ufologists, alien experts, and conspiracy theorists find trail cam photographs and video footage really handy in order to further their alien research. Not only do these help hunters find wild animals for hunting, but biologists, scientists, and researchers can look for rare animals with the help of cam recordings. Trail cameras are also advantageous for government authorities, local bodies, the police, and rescue teams to supervise potentially dangerous regions, look out for local people, hikers, and tourists, and ensure their safety. Number 9. Nature's freak. In 2016, a man in Lancaster County set up a trail camera in the woods near his residence to see what kind of animals roamed the area. To his great shock, when he reviewed the footage later, he found a strange-looking deer in the video. It was not a typical deer, but rather quite abnormal. The man watched the video repeatedly to comprehend what he was looking at. He showed the footage to his wife, friends, and family, who were equally astounded. What looked like an ordinary deer on the superficial level was way too far from the ordinary. The deer had two noses. On its normal nose rested another nose. The two noses stacked on top of each other made the deer look like some kind of mutant. They thought there might be a glitch in the camera that created a weird illusion, but it wasn't the case. There was no glitch or illusion, but the deer actually had a deformed face. The Pennsylvania Game Commission claimed that the deer might have gone through a traumatic injury that exposed its nasal passage. Apart from the second nose, the deer seemed to be doing well. It was functioning fine like it was supposed to and did not appear to be in agony. Indeed, this deer is exceptional, and the world wouldn't have been able to witness it if it weren't for the brilliant trail camera footage. Number 10. Bigfoot. Bigfoot, also commonly known as Sasquatch, is a purported ape-like creature that is said to inhabit the woods of North America. A plethora of Bigfoot sightings is reported every now and then, which is why their existence is not an unlikely scenario. They are highly noteworthy and repeatedly mentioned mythical creatures in American and Canadian folklore. The presence of Bigfoot, or the mere rumors of their existence, date back to the early 19th century. Although countless people claim to have spotted the Sasquatch in the wild, the number of solid and reliable evidence is minimal. However, this footage can prove that Bigfoot does exist after all. Although this video is grainy and a little indistinct, we can see the view of the forest very clearly. A few seconds later, a giant ape-like creature appears in the footage walking across the forest, a little hunched and a bit unsteadily, unaware of the fact that it is being recorded. The beast walks through the trees and then finally vanishes into the dense part of the forest, never to be seen again. However, this isn't an isolated event. You can find several pictures and videos on the internet proving that Bigfoot is indeed real and not just a fictional being. Number 11. Deer shedding antlers. Every day, humans shed millions of skin cells. However, this process is virtually invisible and hence goes unnoticed. Many other animals shed a layer of their skin in a routine procedure called ecdysis. It can occur between 4 to 12 times each year. Snakes are renowned for shedding the topmost layer of their skin. This phenomenon is very common to be sighted. This footage shows a white-tailed deer buck grazing in the snowy wilderness. All of a sudden, one side of its antlers falls off as it shakes its head. Shaken by the strange occurrence, the deer runs off into the forest. One side of its antlers was already missing, which it might have shed some time ago. This natural process is also typical in moose. Trail cameras often record footage of moose shedding their velvet and antlers. Antlers grow the fastest of all the tissues in moose. They can grow up to 8 inches within just a short period of 9 days. When testosterone levels are high enough, the brown skin covering the antlers called the velvet sheds away. Antler bones then harden, and the antlers will continue to grow. Such a sighting is a nightmare for many, but it's only natural for these animals to undergo this cycle from time to time. It appears painful, but it's not. The moose face slight discomfort and itching during this process. Researchers and biologists can observe this phenomenon with the aid of many trail cam footages available. Number 12. Curious lions. Although it is pretty common to encounter mosquitoes, small animals, bears, and bucks while camping in the wilderness, this camper came across what we can call perhaps the most bewildering event of his life. In this footage, the man finds himself surrounded by a bunch of lions in the middle of the night while he's all sleeping cozily inside his tent. First, a male lion shows up outside the tent, which instantly alarms the camper, and he stays inside the tent like a wise man. 2 other lions approach the site as well. The curious predators poke his stuff and mess around the tents, tearing through the vacant tent. Funnily, one of the big cats gets his claw stuck on one of the 2 tents and can be clearly seen having trouble untangling it. Shortly after, the curious pride of lions leaves, and the camper is able to heave a sigh of relief and comes out of his tent to inspect the site. He would probably remember this wild and close encounter for the rest of his life. Perhaps his clever and quick decision saved him from being torn to skin and bone that night, and he could carry on with his trip like nothing ever happened. Number 13. Intruder bear. This big black bear is trespassing in the backyard of a house. After slowly creeping in, he first scans the lawn for any looming threat. After making sure he's all by himself, he then starts sniffing around to find something to eat. Finally, he approaches the chicken coop and discovers something in there that could satiate his hunger. The footage shows him standing on his hind legs, trying to peek inside the wooden enclosure and find an opening. When all his efforts prove futile, he starts aggressively clawing and chipping at the wood, desperately attempting to get his hands on the chickens. The coop begins giving away with its wooden fragments falling apart. To the chickens' luck, the trail camera had a built-in security alarm system. The homeowner triggers the alarm while staying inside the house, successfully startling the hungry bear, which panics and flees the crime scene. The loud sound of the siren leaves the bear astonished, causing him to forsake his midnight snack hunting mission and take off anxiously. The chickens remain safe. The smart alarm-fitted camera, paired with the homeowner's timely action, saves the day. Well, we wonder if the bear ever gathered the courage and tried to break in again and steal a meal. Number 14. Unusual friends. Coming to the most wholesome story, which sounds like nothing less than a Disney film. In 2019, a Siberian husky called Coda went missing from her home in southern Manitoba, Canada. Her owner, Rachel, left the dog at the farm of her boyfriend's mother. 3 days just before Christmas, Coda went missing. The owner feared that she would have to spend Christmas away from her lovely pet dog. However, after 3 days of being away, Coda returned home on her own. Rachel couldn't be any more joyful about it. Even after returning, Coda would occasionally go missing for long hours and return home late. Coincidentally, their neighbor's son had multiple trail cameras installed in the woods for hunting. Finally, the puzzling riddle of Coda's whereabouts was solved. The camera captured numerous photos and videos of Coda hanging out with a deer in the woods. The story unfolded in the most tear-jerking way. She had recently formed an affectionate and friendly bond with the buck. All those days and times she was away from home, she was actually having adventures in the wild with her newly found friend. The unlikely duo would eat, sleep, play, and spend lots and lots of time together. The hunter revealed plenty of pictures of Coda showing the deer immense love and kindness. Rachel uploaded the photos on the internet, and it shortly became an internet sensation, getting thousands of likes and love. Number 15. Rare albino deer. While many animals are sadly on the verge of extinction due to global warming and climate crisis, glimpsing a rare animal is certainly a miracle. Hunters install various trail cameras on their property and nearby woods to check out what type of wildlife is blooming there. This footage is from Tennessee, where a man spotted a rare white albino deer on the premises of his residence. Albino deer are rare species that do not appear in nature and are rarely seen. Therefore, shooting or killing them is deemed illegal. The hunter went on to share the incredible footage online with fellow hunters and other people who were also intrigued by the white coat of the albino deer. Let's cross our fingers that the deer made it safe back home.